was the Vikings versus Lions. And I got to say this, and then I'll let you go, Brian, because you picked the Lions in this matchup. Sometimes you just have to throw logic out the window because in many cases, division game, a team that has your number, you just got to throw logic out the window. It doesn't matter that they're missing a bunch of guys on defense. It doesn't matter that they're a bunch of guys that are on IR. They're missing a lot of significant talent. They're missing one of their most important offensive players in David Montgomery. As long as the coaching is there, the quarterback is there, the talent from the offensive side of the ball, and then you have the coaching, chances are it doesn't really matter because if you have that team's number and they're in your division, chances are you know how to beat them. And that's what the Lions did yet again. What didn't surprise me wasn't that the Lions won. It was how they won, in the fashion that they won. 31-9. I thought it would be more of a close game. I thought it would be a lot competitive considering the Vikings and the Lions have the same record. They only have 2 losses. I'm expecting a very competitive game. And what the Lions did against the Vikings was very shocking. They were able to run the ball very effectively. Jahmyr Gibbs had himself a day. He had over 130 yards rushing, and he had 3 touchdowns. I didn't see that coming because the Vikings are a great run-stopping defense. I was just shell-shocked at what I saw. Brian, what was your thoughts on the Vikings versus Lions game, a game that you predicted the outcome of in terms of the Lions winning?
First things first, I didn't expect this to be the Lions to just run away with it after a certain point. I thought that we was going to have a defensive type game because I think at the half the score was 10-3 or 10-6, something like that. So I was like, oh, this is going to be one of them low scoring games. And all of a sudden, second half kicks off, and then the Lions just boom, they just take off, and the Vikings couldn't keep up. But what I noticed is that the concerns we had about the Vikings being Sam Darnold really showed and stood out Sunday because there was plenty of plays, especially in the red zone, where he literally just didn't see guys. I can think of 2 examples. It was 2 plays, and they were kind of similar. One was a pick play to Jordan Addison. He was running a slant. He was wide open. He was staring in his direction too. So I'm like, what is he looking at? Why didn't he throw the ball? He was literally wide open. Yeah, Kirby Joseph was kind of there, but he wasn't going to make a play on that ball. That ball would have been, he should have threw that ball with anticipation. It would have been an easy touchdown. Then there was another one before that, I think in the first half of the game, before halftime, I think Jordan Addison was open again on a pick play but this time it was an out. It would have been an easy touchdown. He was looking in that. I was like, what is going on here? It's like he started seeing ghosts again, like he was back in New York. And that's one of the problems I had with the Vikings is that, yeah, they have a good team, great coach and stuff, but you need to do that QB. And Jared Goff, he just did what he had to do. Yeah, I think he threw. Did he throw an interception that game?
No, yeah, he had 0 interceptions, but he was 18 for 41 passing.
Ooh. Jared Goff didn't even have that great of a game in my opinion. But I mean, hey, he did what he had to do. You know, Sam Darnold, he just when the moment was too big for him, in my opinion. And that's and going into the playoffs, when it's good on good and dudes have to step up, I'm not sure Sam Darnold's going to be the QB to step up for him in a moment like that. We've seen it. And honestly, does this game change your opinion on whether you're keeping Darnold or anything like that?
I have to see playoffs.
Okay, you see the playoffs. Okay,
I'm a playoff guy. Thing could always change. Again, this is a division rival. Division rivalries are a lot different than any other team that you're going to face in the NFL. So maybe it's just the Lions know him the best. They've been game planning him the entire season, and at this moment, he just shrunk, and they were able to capitalize on a lot of his mishaps. I will say, you talked about some plays that he left on the field in terms of like not seeing the field well. There was also throws that he missed. There was throws that he was making the right read. He just missed. A couple of times to Justin Jefferson in the red zone where it would have just changed the outcome of the game. He just missed. And that was very disappointing for me because Sam Darnold has been tremendous this year. He's had an amazing year. And for him to miss the easy throws in the red zone was very disappointing. I expected more from him, and they just couldn't get anything going. I don't think they had a touchdown this game. It was all field goals. 9 points against a depleted Lions defense. You're just not going to win that way. And the Lions defense, the Vikings defense, they tried the first half, only giving up 10 points. They tried, but you can only do so much against a Ben Johnson-led offense. Ben Johnson is just a wizard. He is just somebody that it is very hard to game plan against an offense where he is the coordinator and he is calling the plays, because I haven't seen something like this in a very long time, since maybe Kansas City when they had Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Brady in a couple of years. It's been a minute since I've seen an offense, no matter what defensive coordinator is calling the plays, calling the defense, no matter what personnel they have, this offense just seems to have the answers every single time. It's one of the best offense I've seen in the past 10 years. They are that good. Jared Goff has just improved significantly ever since he was with the Rams with Sean McVay. He wasn't great this game, like you said, but he still made enough plays to get his team to win. They scored over 30. Shoot, you score over 30. It don't matter that you threw 2 picks. 30 points is 30 points. And they just won. They dominated. He was 27 for 33, which is an amazing just completion percentage right there. Those 2 interceptions weren't great, but 27 for 23 and getting in the end zone with Jahmyr Gibbs 3 times is going to help you a lot. And that defense, they did their thing, even though they didn't have all the guys. I can't say enough about Dan Campbell and the coaching. They have a outstanding coaching staff with Aaron Glenn, with Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell leading the way. Like, those guys, man, they really coach these dudes to a T. They never give up. They never feel like their backs are against the wall. They never feel like they should lose and back down. It always feels like they're always confident in what they're doing. Next man mentality. A lot of the cliche football terminology seems to exist with this team, and it's working right now. And Dan Campbell has motivated this team. They're the number 1 seed. They have a bye week, so now they can rest even more. They can get guys healthier. It just seems like a team that is destined for greatness, even though they're missing a lot of their key dudes on defense. I don't know what else to say. It baffles me how good they are, how disciplined they are, and how laser focused they are. It's amazing to see for a franchise that I never would have thought in a million years would be in this position after what I've seen with Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and all those boys in the previous years. It's truly astonishing to see, to say the least.
When you get your dudes in the coaching room and you draft well, you reap the fruits of your labor. So,
and they took their time. They took their time. They didn't abandon ship after 1 year like what we see with all these other franchises and these coaches. They took their time. They developed their players. They knew it was going to be a process. Dan Campbell's first year, it wasn't good. They won only like 4 games. It wasn't all that great, but they continue to improve. They continue to give them time. And eventually now they're one of the better coach teams in the NFL. They're one of the more talented teams in the NFL. They're one of the more clutch teams in the NFL. And this game showed itself why they should be considered the favorites coming out of the NFC, even with all the injuries, because they are that good.
Yeah, pretty much. I also want to salute Dan Campbell for believing in his guys. Obviously, they got rid of some coaches, but let's not forget 2 years ago that Aaron Glenn defense was looking like people was like, maybe we should get rid of this guy. Maybe he's not it, the defense. But now let's Dan Campbell. I give him probably stuck with him, stuck by him, and he allowed the talent to come and really establish a culture on that defense, an identity. And now they're overperforming even with all the injuries they're facing. They lose Aiden Hutchinson, and they arguably then it really drop off super significantly. So you got to give him props for that. And obviously Ben Johnson was always good, but yeah, man, it's just that's an all-star coach. All of them, well, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are going to be up for head coaching roles after this season. So got to salute to Dan Campbell and the GM for the Lions. Who would have thought a team 10 years ago? If you would have said 10 years, man, the Lions how many? They lost 2 games this year.
Yeah, 2 games.
They went 15-2, and it got a playoff bye, and they're the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. They would have slapped you.
I would have been like, damn, Matthew Stafford finally got over the hump. Word, they finally put a team around him. That's what's up. But yeah, man, it's truly amazing what we're seeing. It's unfortunate for me because I'm a Packers fan, but they deserve it. They did their thing. They did what they were supposed to do. They trust the process, and now they're reaping the benefits of what they've done. And it's still more football to be played. It's still not done yet, but they have the number 1 seed. Aaron Glenn, you mentioned it before. I'll say this about Aaron Glenn. They're a team, they're a defense just situationally. They're not the greatest defense, but situationally, they just get it done. They just know, hey, you're in the red zone. You need a stop. They get a stop. You need to get a stop on third down. They get that stop when you need them. Like just situationally in the clutch. They seem to figure out a way to get the job done. And that's all you need. That's all you want for your defensive coordinator. It reminds me of, I remember the Bengals years ago with Lou Anarumo. He got fired recently. But I remember the Bengals were similar in the same way in the fact that just situationally, they weren't the greatest defense. But in certain situations in the game where you need your defense to make a play, they made it. The same thing with the Lions. And even without the talent, they get it done. And that's what you want for your defense.
And you know what? And like I said, they may not be the most talented unit on defense, especially after all this injury. But let me tell you what, them boys hustle. You do not have to question the effort of any of them players on defense or offensively for that matter. And that's just what's the word I'm looking for?
That's just effort. That's just pride.
Yeah, well, it's a something. I can't find the word. Oh man, this is embarrassing. That's just the highlight of the culture that they made over there in Detroit. That them dudes go out there no matter what the depth chart says, they go out there and compete. They play hard. And they don't just give sorry effort out there, and that's what you really want to establish as a head coach.
Just let me be me.